28th of May it is, and it will be all day, so there you go. This is Wayne Goldsboro Television. Thank you for being with us. My name is Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best. Good morning.
Hope you're doing well today. Well, today we have part 2, right?
Yes, we do, of the baseball interview that you did, or filming of the video.
This was an event that took place at the Wayne County Public Library a couple of weeks back, and Marty Cheddar did an amazing job of putting together a program that would just knock your baseball socks off. Oh boy. And in fact, I heard from several people that, in fact, some of the descendants of some of the famous players, they said, you know, I never knew that about my own father. That Marty was able to find out and uncover
lots of stories and interesting facts.
Oh, some of the stories, some of the facts. Some of it was extremely funny. Some of it was kind of sad, but we're talking about Johnny Peacock, Jerry Narron. We're talking about
Clyde King.
Clyde King, thank you, and
You're welcome.
so many of the.
You know, and I think you'll be surprised by all the stories and all the information. And just matter of fact, how many baseball famous individuals played pro ball?
That's right.
Right here from Wayne County.
From Wayne County, they grew up here. They played ball here, and a lot of people are familiar.
And still call it home. Have family here.
Yeah, they do. Jerry Narron, of course, everybody knows about Jerry Narron. He's still active in baseball, and there's a couple of others. Wooten is active in baseball. There's a couple of others as well. But there are some who have passed on, and there's one or two who are just retired here, having a good time. You're going to hear about them as well.
It's pretty neat.
And they live here now.
Pretty neat.
Yes, indeed it is.
Farmers Market today opens this morning at 9 o'clock. Will be open till 7 or 8 tonight. Don't forget, you can go out to Herman Park, to the Herman Street side of the parking lot. Believe me, you won't miss it. You'll see vegetables galore, you'll see plants, you'll see baked goods, all kinds of things happening right there at the Farmers Market all day, every Wednesday throughout the summer and into this fall. You
know, I was talking with Mark Wilson of the Parks and Recreation Department the other day, and he said they've got more vendors out there than they've ever had.
Isn't it great? It is growing by leaps and bounds. People are actually coming from other counties now.
Are they
and coming to our farmers market. They certainly are.
I'll tell you what, well, we do it right. We do it
right. We do. It's growing.
I'm telling you, growing by leaps and bounds.
That's right. And then, of course, on Saturdays, for those that work during the week that can't get into town, on Saturday mornings from 9 until 12, we also have a farmers market downtown at Cornerstone Commons. So come on out on Saturdays. Get you some fresh local produce then as well.
Boy. Oh, boy. Support local farmers.
That's
support the economy. You're doing all those things.
That's exactly right.
Helping yourself out there with eating a really good food.
Tomorrow night, Center Street Jam.
Is that tomorrow night?
That's tomorrow night. Blake Kearney Band, 6 to 9, Center Street Jam, right here downtown Goldsboro. Come out and join us. It's always lots of fun.
The year was 1929.
All right, what happened?
That was a great year. Warner Brothers debuted the first all-color talking picture. Now, there had been a couple of movies before that had a couple of scenes splattered in there with color, because it was very difficult to do back in 1929. And mainstream talkies didn't start until 27 with Al Jolson.
Mainstream talkies?
Mainstream.
Talkies.
Because there had been a couple of talkies prior to that, but they weren't perfected. But perfection finally came about, if you want to call it that, 1927 with the jazz singer and Al Jolson. And only 2 years later, they came out with a complete color movie, 1929. And look how far we've come since then. The movies have really gotten worse, but hey, but they look good.
Well, they went for a period of time, but they were really good, though.
Oh,
had a lot of substance.
Especially in 1939. That was the year.
Was it?
Oh, Wizard of Oz, the war movie, the Civil War picture, Gone with the Wind, Stagecoach, so many great movies.
Gone with the Wind is still such a phenomenal classic.
Oh, it is.
For young people, if you haven't seen it, you really should rent it, go out, watch that movie, or you don't have to go out, you bring it home.
Yeah, so many great movies. That year in particular, 1939, there was some big blockbuster movies that year. Okay, the year was also 1957. National League club owners voted to allow the Brooklyn Dodgers to move to sunny Southern California. And they also said the New York Giants baseball team could move to Northern California. They became the Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants, respectively. They actually moved, and they had not been able to do that prior to that.
Well, let's go find out a little more about baseball.
Okay.
Since you brought it up.
Since I brought it up.
That's right.
Tonight we're at the Wayne County Public Library, where historian Marty Cheddar of the Public Library will be presenting a program about baseball. Baseball is very important here in Wayne County. We've had several major players go into the sport from right here in Wayne County. Tonight we're going to see artifacts, we're going to hear people talking, we're going to just have a good old time talking about baseball, the American pastime.
And this is a jersey, away jersey that Jerry wore when he was with California Angels in the mid-'80s. And then also, this is his first major league hit. This is the ball he let us borrow, which is pretty cool. So definitely come in and take a look at it.
Thank you, Marty, for organizing this and having this. It's a great pleasure to be here tonight. Is anyone here that played baseball with Jerry Nair? Any family member of Jerry Nair? Does anyone here know Jerry Nair? All right. So we do have that. I'd like to tell you that it is a pleasure for me to be up here tonight. I would much more be happier if I was probably in the batter's box and it'd be the ninth inning, a man on third base, the game tied, and George Whitfield giving me the squeeze bunt signal. Knowing that I had to bunt it in order for us to win the ball game, because I would be probably a little more relaxed. I am so proud to be able to be here and represent Jerry, who's obviously now he's managing, and they have a game tonight. I think started at 6:30. It's a special honor for me. Jerry signed right out of high school. The first game he played in that summer was in Johnson City, Tennessee, and what a great thing with that was he played with his brother Johnny Nair. They both played in that first year and played together. When he came back in the summer after baseball season was over, East Carolina was on the quarter system. So since they were on the quarter system, he was able to go to school for 2 quarters, and then he would go back to play baseball. So Jerry got 2 years of schooling in the summertime when he first started in the pros by being able to do that. He roomed with 2 local boys here. One was Berkey Perkins, some of you may know him, and the other was Stuart Bray. And they allowed him to room with him. I'm not sure if Jerry even paid. He just went and stayed with them while he went just to 2 quarters. Jerry played 8 seasons in the major leagues. From 1974 to 1982, he was with the Yankees. And then from 82 to 89, he was with Seattle in California. He got his first single hit off Hall of Famer Jim Palmer on April 19th, 1979 against Baltimore. And his first major league home run was a solo shot of Hall of Famer Dennis Eckersley on September 1, 1979. He was a starting catcher on August the 3rd, 1979. That was a very special weekend of games. It was a night before Thurman Munson, who was at that time the captain of the New York Yankees, as well as the starting catcher, and had been there several years. They pulled Jerry up to catch. Thurman, on a quick story, he had got interested in flying. Bought him an airplane. So that weekend, they gave him off, and he was going to fly his plane. They had Jerry catching for him. Jerry caught the night before, and then the next day, Thurman had a plane wreck and was killed. Well, the season had to go on. It was very emotional. The next game Jerry had to catch. And this was after the death of Thurman. They had a time of silence, which was supposed to be about 2 minutes. And then I wrote in a statement that Jerry read, for about 9 to 10 minutes, there was an ovation for Thurman. And in that particular game, as they do now, they all lined up, one team on the first base side, one team on the third base side, and they have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Well, that particular game, as they lined up, the slot where Thurman stood was vacant in honor of him, and Jerry stayed in the dugout. Well, Jerry went on to catch that game and caught, I think it was 69 more that year for the Yankees. Jerry was manager of the Baltimore Orioles farm system from 89 to 92. He was hired as coach for the Orioles by skipper Johnny Oates. After 2 seasons in Baltimore, he moved with Oates to Texas Rangers. Jerry was the third base coach for the Rangers from 95 until he was named the interim coach for the team during the 2002 campaign. Nairn served as bench coach for the Boston Red Sox during their 2003 run for the series and performed the same role for Cincinnati in 2004 and 2005. Jerry was named as the Red interim manager on June 20, 2005, and on September 29th of that year, his contract was extended to cover the 2006 season with a mutual option for 2007. The next year, after 35 years in baseball, Jerry came home. It was his first time home during baseball season. It was his son Connor's senior year at Charles B. Aycock. So Jerry also during that year was named to the front office as a consultant with the Texas Rangers, but they allowed him to come home and work with his son and their team. And I'm sure that was a special honor and a special feeling that Jerry had to be able to do that. It was his first time home. I think Jerry's family, they were 4 girls and 1 boy, and Connor was the only son and he was the baby. Jerry was named to the Reds interim manager. I think I just told you, and pardon me for having to read. There's been about 40 years during this time I was in high school coaching and right now, and I promise you I cannot remember it all. I had the privilege of coaching Jerry for 3 years at Goldsboro High School. He was the only sophomore that ever played for me when I was coaching. He had an awful lot of ability. He didn't have a real strong arm as a sophomore, and when he first started that year, we had a point between home plate and second base, and instead of trying to throw it all the way to second to throw the guy out, we'd have him throw to that spot on the ground and let it bounce into second base. And that's how he started. That was a special year also for me as well as Jerry, because Johnny, who played first base for me, was Jerry's brother, and he was a senior that year. So Jerry and Johnny both got to play. I told you previously they got to play their first year in the pros together in the minor leagues, and then in high school they got to play the last year for Johnny and the first year for Jerry. When he put on his cap, cleats, and mitt, he was 110% athlete, baseball player. Jerry had a split personality, I guess you may say. Off the field, he was large in stature, as you can see his figure over there. He was very quiet, had a soft demeanor. On the field, he was a total different person. He was very aggressive, hard-nosed, and played to the last strike. He was a fierce competitor. I think he was a lot like his daddy in a way. His daddy was big in stature, but quiet in voice. But when he spoke, you listened. So Jerry inherited that from his family. Jerry grew up in Goldsboro with a family. His dad, John Nairn, who was owner of a furniture store, Vivian Nairn, His mother was a math teacher at Southern Wayne High School until retirement. Their family were strong members of Madison Avenue Baptist Church. I so happened at that time to be a member there. Jerry, as a young boy there, was very active in the church and also in Boy Scouts. He was also very respectful and polite. And as I said before, his family consisted of his mother and daddy and family was 3 girls and 2 boys, Jerry and Johnny. His parents were very supportive of them. They were a true Christian family. As Jerry was growing up in Goldsboro, he played at the boys club. He played football, baseball, and basketball. And one of the boys I mentioned earlier, who's a man now, Stuart Gray, played with him on the Goldsboro Kiwanis boys club team. He said everybody was always happy if they got on base and Jerry came to bat, because they knew Jerry would knock them in, because that's the kind of player he was. In high school, Jerry was a dedicated Christian athlete, starting in football as well as baseball. At that time, I was assistant football coach to Gerald Wisenot, and then during baseball, we switched roles, and he was my assistant. I had a little problem during football because Jerry was the kind of kid, because his love for baseball, that every weekend he would come to me and say, "Coach, can I have the key to the pitching machine so I can go hit baseball?" Well, that presented a problem to me, number one, because I knew how head coaches were, and I was involved in football, and Jerry was a starter on the football team. And if Jerry had gone out during football hitting baseball and he got hurt, then it would have been very tough for me. Fortunately, Jerry could handle many things at the same time, especially when one of them was baseball. So obviously I let him go out. He probably wore out 10 dozen baseballs with that pitching machine, had to buy extra balls just for him so he could hit. As good a man as Jerry is as a human, recently I was told a story that just happened about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks. They had a baseball game, and 2 of Jerry's players got thrown out at third base. I'm sorry. One of Jerry's players and one of the other team's players got in an argument. They both got thrown out. Well, Jerry, being the head bench coach for the Brewers now, immediately goes out and looks the ump in the face and says, "You threw out the wrong man." And the ump said, "Yes, sir. And now you're out of the game." So they threw Jerry out as well, but Jerry still has that baseball demeanor, as I was saying. When he's on the field, it's a total different game. Baseball has not just been a game for Jerry, it has been a long life dream and a year-round job. I believe the season consists of 162 regular season games. Each game may take 3 or 4 hours to play, and then the players have to get there 4 or 5 hours ahead of the ball game to prepare, and that doesn't take into account the travel time. I've been glad to say that Jerry's been blessed to live his dream, starting as a young boy and still living it now. I'm not going to go through all of Jerry's statistics because you can read those and you can read them on the board. But here's a man, like I say, he's been in baseball seriously since 1941. Oh, God. Since 1971. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of my age. 1971. I still think I'm a child. He started in 1971 as a sophomore. He's still in it, the game right now, as a coach. That's 43 years. So it's been a long time. And again, the main thing that I can say about Jerry is he's a Christian young man. Most players look up to their coaches I can tell you, he's the kind of young man that I looked up to. And one thing that I'm proud to say, he has been affiliated with so many different teams, so many players, and I'm sure he's been a father figure to many players and many young men. I used to tell my players in high school, I said, I always know that you got professional people and older people that you look up to. But just remember, I don't care how old you are, there's somebody that's smaller that's looking up to you. So always set that example. And I can honestly say that I can believe Jerry Narron has set that example all of his life that I've known him. And I would have to say probably there wouldn't be a parent out here that wouldn't be proud to have him as their son. Thank you very much. Jerry, and I forgot, but I'd like to, and I'll read it to you because somebody had forgotten. Jerry's talent and love of baseball came from great genetics. 9 Narron men played professional baseball. There were 3 uncles, Jerry's dad, John, his brother, Johnny, his cousin, Rooster Narron, and his son, Sam, and Jerry's son, Connor. And Jerry, Johnny, Sam, and Connor are still active in baseball. And I think that for one family, that really says something. Thank you.
How about that?
Learning more about baseball.
I'm telling you.
Every day.
It's fun. It's fun. And for those, this is a great program even for people who are not fans of baseball, to hear about your neighbors from right here in Wayne County. I mean, who knew that these people were actually stars, professional baseball players? And who knew that? And for those, and the stories are funny too.
They are.
Stories are very funny.
They are.
Carol Baker, the actress, turns 83 today. Rudy Giuliani turns 70. Gladys Knight, love her.
Absolutely.
Oh, baby, she is great.
I love Motown anyway.
I do too.
I've always been a big fan of Motown.
Oh, I love it. I love it. She is 70 today, Gladys Knight is. Her middle name is Maria.
Maria.
Gladys
Maria.
I once knew a girl named Maria. That's something else, though. John Fogerty's having a birthday. He was with CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival, and then kind of struck out on his own and did some solo things on his own under the name of Blue Ridge Rangers. All right. Birthday today, he is 69. Sandra Locke, former student at ECU, having a birthday. No, that's Sandra, somebody else.
That's Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock is not having a birthday today.
No, she's not.
And Sandra Locke did not attend ECU. Sandra Locke is 67 today. Kylie Minogue having a birthday, she's 46.
Happy birthday if it's your special day.
Whee!
Bluegrass in the Village.
Picking in a granny.
That's right, at Waynesboro Park.
I love it.
June the 7th from 12 until 3. Bluegrass in the Village is a series of monthly jam sessions held at Waynesboro Park.
Are you serious?
I'm serious, on the first Saturday of the month.
She's
It'll
serious.
be from, it started in April, it'll go through October from 12 until 3 p.m. The jams are sponsored by the North Carolina Bluegrass Association. You can find out more at ncbluegrass.org. How about that?
I love
That's
bluegrass.
pretty neat. All at Waynesboro Park.
How about that?
Next one is June the 7th, 12 to 3. Mark your calendars if you're a bluegrass fan. Waynesboro
I
Park.
will mark my calendar. You know, bluegrass music is kind of an acquired
Yes,
taste.
that's what I hear.
You either, if you didn't grow up with it, you kind of have to learn to like it.
Right.
But if you grew up with it, oh boy, it's kind of built in. And I'm a fan of that, of bluegrass. Love bluegrass. Oh yeah.
I'm a big jazz fan myself.
Well, I like jazz. In fact, there's a lot of music I do like. There's very little I don't like. But I like almost all genre of music. But I like jazz too. Any particular kind of jazz you like?
You know, not necessarily. I listen to all different kinds of jazz, and I like, it depends on my mood. Mm-hmm. If I like the old, more soulful jazz, or if I like the more updated jazz. But I like it all. I really do.
Jones,
oh, absolutely. She's one of my favorites.
Isn't she great?
One of my favorites.
All right.
Yes.
I like everything from Preservation Hall to Lionel Hampton to Nora Jones, everything in between, just about.
If you need to relax, Nora's the one to listen to.
There you go. All right, Retirees on Call is ROC, R-O-C. Retirees on Call see more of those who served, partnering with those who are still serving. Retirees on Call is an organization that helps people in need, retired folks or people in need who are active military. Their spouses need help mowing the yard, doing the dishes, cleaning the house.
It's a great
running
program.
An errand, it is. If you need an errand run and you can't do it yourself, call Retirees on Call. If you're military. Now the number is 580-0007, 580-0007, and get more information about Retirees on Call Seymour, ROC Seymour. Okay?
Very good. All right, I believe that may be it for today.
Oh, is that it?
It's time to head on out.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it is.
We're going to go. We'll be back
gonna
again
go.
tomorrow. Have a great day. Enjoy the day. Until tomorrow, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best, and this is what's happening in your community.